Do you remember the last episode when I was feeling pretty good about myself? Said the car was running like a scalded cat. I thought I was Andy Grinatelli. Took her around the block and she was running pretty shitty. Well, I figured out why. This is where the universe reminds you that you truly are a hooplehead. You can see that's the vacuum canister. And many of you are saying, hey, Rye, why isn't that on the distributor cap? Excellent question. It hasn't been this entire time. Since I first got the car, it's just been laying on the, we'll call it the pan, down here. It's just been laying down here. You can see where it's been sitting there vibrating for the last couple of months. And it should be attached right there, because this moves, right? Advanced all the way out and then retards. So why is that important? Well, let me tell you. So this spot right here is what I'm talking about. You can see how this moves. This is advanced, this is retarded. Retarded, advanced. This messes with the timing when the engine is under load or running. And this right there, there's a nub underneath. You can kind of see it right there. It hooks underneath and this moves up and down. That's what moves, advances, or retards the timing. So a rudimentary explanation of how a vacuum works it is basically this assists in the timing of the engine. Every piston goes up and down, and there's an explosion and forces the piston down, up, down, and it all has to do with timing. Well, when the car is at idle or cruising down the road at, say, 30 miles an hour or even 65 miles an hour, there's no reason to mess with the actual timing to advance or retard it. It's cruising. So that peg that I showed you would be all the way up, if you will, all the way up towards the cab of the vehicle. Now, if for some reason you decide to accelerate quickly, downshift, and you want to accelerate, it creates a vacuum because those pistons start firing faster, and there's a vacuum that's created, and it comes through this hose and basically begins to pull. And what it does is it pulls, and it's supposed to, and this is a bad canister because look how much effort I have to put in. I mean, it's difficult, but you can see it moving. This should be very easy. This is way too hard. My guess is this is the original canister because, again, it's just vacuum that's basically sucking and should be able to pull this down, and this is too difficult. Anyway, when you go to accelerate, it pulls this down and it adjusts with it advances the timing even further than the 8 to 10, 8 to 12 degrees it's normally set at. So the entire time I've had this vehicle and been messing with the tuning, I failed to notice that this canister was just laying basically at the bottom of the engine compartment. So again, last week when she was running like a scalded cat, my hunch is that nub had vibrated down to the fully advanced, which is why when I was running around at cruising speed, she was running so poorly. So what I have done is I ordered, it'll be here sometime middle of next week, a new canister. They're not expensive, $30, something like that. Because again, I believe I shouldn't have to labor as much as I am to pull that down. That should move up and down pretty easy. As a matter of fact, I should be able to, suck on this and get it to move. And I'm pretty sure that I can't do that. In fact, I know I can't because this is taking a lot of effort. Anyway, ordered a new one of these. I've also ordered new screws because for the life of me, I can't find where the screws are. And perhaps last week, when I dropped that part, I found a couple of screws. Maybe that goes to these, but again, I've just bought some new ones. They weren't expensive, a couple of dollars. So this is the latest with Mavis, the Corvair. It's not bad news. It's actually good news. Once I get the proper, or a new canister, we'll get it mounted, and then we can start tuning the carbs again and get it closer. And I think we're basically one step away from making her road worthy. I think this entire time, for whatever reason, I don't know if the screws vibrated out and it just fell or someone took it off, but my hunch is that that Advance has been moving theoretically back and forth quite a bit, causing a lot of heartburn. Anyway, that's the latest and greatest. So we'll see you in episode 9 when we get this new canister put on and get all of my problems solved, and everything will be wonderful. Anyway, in this world, when you can be anything you want, you be kind, be humble, and be forgiving. We'll see you next time.